talk to these guys today is really about going beyond dynamic content and profiling and how businesses are elevating the game with things like propensity models, real-time API integrations, and beyond. We're going to see what email personalization means to all of them. And a little surprise for them, I have a little bit of rapid fire at the end. So why don't we start off with you guys, introduce yourselves, and tell us just at a high level where your company's at in regards to email personalization 3.0. We'll start left over.
Hi, I'm Katie White. I lead Lifecycle marketing at NextDoor, which is the neighborhood app where people go to sell and buy things, look for local recommendations, and then businesses also serve ads to that very valuable and local audience. As far as where we are in personalization 3.0, I'd say we're making advances quarter over quarter. There's a lot of really exciting stuff on our product roadmap and the way that we're ingesting it into our communications. And without getting too deep into it and letting other people talk, I would say on a scale from 1 to 10, we're at about like a 6, 7.
Awesome. Mandy Rassi, I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at the Michaels Companies. So Michaels Stores, if you're familiar with them, and our new business maker place that we just launched about a month ago now. I look after marketing, customer data, loyalty, and communications. I would say kind of similarly, I'd probably put us on like a 6. As I think about the totality of our lifecycle marketing program, I think our CRM and trigger-based programs are much further along than our calendared emails, and probably SMS is somewhere in the middle there. Lots of work still to do, but we've kind of started in pockets as we've been innovating, and I'm sure we'll get into all that.
I'm Correy Honza. I am Senior Director of Consumer Marketing at Healthgrades. I would have given myself maybe like a 6 or 7, but after hearing all these cool things that people are doing, I'm gonna put myself down a couple notches. We've been playing with, I would say, personalization 3.0 for the last year and have seen some great wins and some good lessons learned. So that's kind of where we're at.
Awesome, thank you. Mandy, I'm gonna send you this one specifically, but you others chime in if it relates to you. How are you addressing the concerns about moving fast enough and building the necessary infrastructure to really scale your personalization?
Yeah, my team would probably say that they're tired of hearing me say, like, can we do it faster? Can we move faster? Could we try this? I think the space is moving fast, and obviously we're in retail. Retail moves very fast. The biggest way we've been able to get to speed, one, I will say we are lucky from a corporate culture that a lot of our leadership team is new. In the last 2 years, we're private equity owned, and a lot of us came in new at the last PE event that happened. So there's not a lot of sacred, we must keep doing it the way we've always done it, even with email. So that has facilitated us being able to make changes faster, and we do a ton of learning. So we have a really robust learning agenda for all parts of our life cycle program, and then when we see something work, we scale it fast. Even like we use SMS sometimes to test audience strategies, then if that works, then we port it into email. I think someone else said they do kind of a similar thing earlier this morning. Same thing we've started in CRM because we have a good ability to really measure and segment things out. So we've been able to bring more of the AI and further capabilities first there. And then sort of, I think the last step for us will be the calendared email program, which is like the biggest beast to bite off. But by trying not to boil the ocean, like I can see all the things we need to be doing across all of those to better connect them. But if we tried to bite that off in and of itself, that would be like an 18-month journey probably. So while we have the vision and the roadmap to get there, we try to also do things in a bite-sized way so that we can more continuously progress.
Yeah, I agree. And to add to that, I would say very few concepts are just gut instinct. Like something is always seated in another learning. And I've kind of always had a philosophy. It's gotten me in into trouble a couple of times, but ask for forgiveness later, right? Like if you've got numbers, sorry. I'm in a Slack with legal right now, actually, so. But, you know, if you have a supporting case behind why you wanted to get something into market quickly, and you start small, and don't roll it out to your entire, like, tens of millions of audience members, then, you know, there's a lot that you can talk your way out of.
Sure. So being in the pseudo-healthcare space, speed is, if anything, we're the ones that are like, hey, we have an opportunity, we have this great audience, we want to take advantage of it, and then we have to hurry up and wait because we can't move. And so that's probably something more that we struggle with on our end.
Thank you. Katie, how is NextDoor planning to allocate resources, both people and technology, to drive the personalization agenda in 2024?
That is a great question. Like a lot of companies here, we downsized a bit very recently, so resource allocation is very clear. There are fewer people to do more things. And I think Allison Lindland mentioned earlier that leaning into technology and leaning into all of these AI tools is really a way to do more with less. So without the investment, like leveraging products like ChatGPT in order to do copy and iterative segments for you, or just giving you something to react to, is definitely something that we are going to be doing a lot more of in 2024, and really encouraging the team to become those prompt engineers and leaning into ways to make their day more efficient. Because at the end of the day, like, we really want to make sure people are happy and we're consistently building morale. So giving them the time and the space to learn new things, learn new skills, and at the end of the day, be happy that they chose NextDoor as a place where they spend, 10 hours a day.
Sure. So stuff that we're going to be doing, I would say, next year is really fine-tuning a lot more of our segmentation. We don't have a super awesome AI model like we were hearing about and stuff, but we do use propensity modeling and personas, and we've seen some great wins, and we've seen some okay things. But to go through and to fine-tune those and to find, we're finding that this audience reacts similar to this audience. It's maybe leaning into some of these tools now to really, have AI go through and actually do that hard work. I forgot who was speaking. I think it was this morning about what humans are doing and what AI is doing, and to really take advantage of the skills of AI to do some of that tough, data, driven stuff is really going to be where I think that we'll see some success in the coming year.
Yeah, I would say from a resource point of view, I have the luxury of sitting across all of it. And obviously retail is in a challenging environment, and we're private equity owned, so I can't just add headcount all over the place. So a lot of the focus is optimizing the total model. So some of it is automation, exactly as Katie said, which in our case is like workflow management tools, a better DAM, using AI, using more dynamic content creation, which then allows me to streamline actually other places of my team. We've also significantly changed our media mix, which has allowed me to also free up resources who were doing more print-based things. So that has, like, next year we will add data science resource actually, and we'll probably hold in the lifecycle space, but shift what people are doing as we get more automation. I'm hoping to get us out of so much of the manual building that still the team is doing, particularly on the calendared program, to then give them time back to spend more of their brain power on actually architecting the learning agenda, extracting what we learned, optimizing the program, and just sort of being smarter with what we have. But some of it is looking across the total marketing model, that frankly, these are spaces that return really high, and trying to hold or grow resource here by maybe streamlining some more legacy stuff, or places like marketing operations where we could be maybe using tools and automation to do some of what humans have done before.
So that brings up another question for me. When we think about all the tools, I know some of the tools have an overlap of some of their capabilities and how all the tools need to come together. How do you feel when you look at your MarTech stack and think about, your initiative on Personalization 3.0? How do you bring it all together?
Go first? Sure. So it's a great question. I will say we replatformed our site in February. We're still working through updates to our app. We have a CTO, like I said, a lot of us are new, so our CTO's also only been with Michael's about a year. And so it is a really critical collaboration. I think we are still in a place where we have some internal opportunity where things aren't as easy as they could be from a tech perspective, or things don't flow across the customer experience from like mobile, especially in our app, as well as they need to within the marketing ecosystem. So there's a lot of partnership there. I will also say it's why we lean on a lot of external partners that, like, we're a relatively small company. We're a $5 billion company, so we're not gonna be like building our own CDPs or building some of these activation tools. We're way better off to partner with folks like many of the people in the room who are gonna have better capability. You're gonna continuously update, things like that. So a lot of the partnership I have with our product team is figuring out what should we do internally, and then where should we bring in partners, and how do we connect them in the right way so that it doesn't become hodgepodgey with like too many cooks in the kitchen. But I would say the tech piece for us is probably, I've been here a year and a half. I would say that has probably been my biggest challenge. Obviously also because we were going through a site replatform. So in my first 9 months, there was very little we could touch because it was like we have to get the replatform out the door before anything else can be put on top.
I would say that I think we finally have a pretty solid MarTech stack. And there was a lot of people in the organization, stakeholders. We did a good job of getting the right mix. And I think our biggest challenge may have been some of the stuff that I had to deal with, which was our ad tech group used our CDP to build all of our segments. And it's like, why should we reinvent the wheel multiple times and keep multiple versions of segments? Let's use the CDP as our master segment builder. And then from there, that builds everything else. And so our CDP powers our marketing automation platform. It powers our personalization engine on our website. And it also does a lot of the off-site stuff as well. And it's remarkable, but the biggest challenge is we have a homegrown BI system that we're trying to migrate over to Snowflake. And to try to get all this stuff, gosh, I think that Sonia did it best. It's like, I can, over the fence, I can see the data. I just want to grab that data. And that's probably our biggest challenge.
I would say that's our biggest challenge as well. I lead both B2C and B2B. And on the B2B side of the house, I feel like, the last few years of my tenure have been focused on really getting that in a great place. And I'm very confident that it is. And now 2024, my remit is really to understand what's happening on the neighbor, the B2C side of the house, and a lot of stuff goes out through code. A lot of the notifications or emails that a lot of you receive as a neighbor are sent from our product eng team, and developing this concept of like mission control, where we are sending less from the product if there are marketing things that we want to lean into and send, is going to be what we're focused on, and using propensity modeling to understand which segments want to hear more from us, and how can we better serve neighbors and send less and not bother them as much, leveraging that type of technology. So really looking forward to digging into it. I'm sure there are going to be a lot of really challenging conversations, but it'll be a cool new opportunity.
So I'm going to skip around a little bit because it brings me to a question around how all of you guys are looking at propensity modeling within your campaigns today.
Awesome. I love to talk about this. We actually partner with presenting sponsored data axle on our lead marketing program for B2B, and have done a ton of what we affectionately call tofu marketing, top of funnel. And it's been a really interesting ride. So we've done a lot of campaigns over the last few months, leveraging the rich data that we have acquired from Data Axle to ensure that we're putting the right type of content in front of the right type of small business owner or whoever is managing marketing for that company. We've got this really now very rich self-serve platform that we encourage people to claim a page and then start serving ads to our valuable, engaged neighbor audience. And we're going to be using the conversion metrics that we have received over the last few months of tofu marketing, feeding that into an machine learning propensity model that our team is furiously developing right now, and using that to inform the way that we approach that program next year. So not only looking at the actual conversion data, but like down funnel metrics as well. What are people engaging with? Where are they getting lost within the product? How do we better nurture them through their learning process? A lot of these small business owners are coffee shop owners or home services proprietors that don't have a lot of time to do a lot of marketing to their local audience. So ensuring that we're giving them the right type of coaching and information through our program in the right channel.
Yeah, I would say our business is obviously very category driven and very project driven. So obviously we serve creative people who are doing creative projects. So a lot of, we use propensity modeling in a few places. So one is understanding what the next best thing is to serve up. So whether that's, we know as people start projects that like, okay, you bought this category, that probably means you're a yarn person and you've started a project like this. Then we will know based on using the propensity modeling, what is either the next best item or the next best category to serve up to kind of help them on their creative journey, whether it's about that product or sort of, there are some categories that are more like entry points, and we know if people come in, like fine art would be an example, you'll see somebody come in, those customers over time then tend to expand into a lot of other creative categories, where like yarn people tend to just be yarn people. And so you tend to do better, like just give them more yarn related projects, and that's what they like more. But it was actually, as someone who, like this is a new space, I came from grocery, so it's been fascinating to see. Like I would have thought like all creative people like to do tons of creative projects, and then it's like, oh no, in certain categories that's true, in other categories not at all true. The other place we use it is more from a loyalty and life cycle point of view, that we have some decliner models and things where we will see someone should be purchasing and they're not, and then we use the propensity model to know what is the right offer or the right message to give that customer to try to get them to re-engage in our ecosystem, and that's part of our whole sort of trigger-based program.
For our propensity modeling, it's a lot of it was kind of homegrown and was built into our CDP, which we use Zeta, and then they're also, I guess, a sponsor here as well. They also have Zeta data, so they also have some ways that we can use their modeling to maybe find someone who, you know, we never want to say that anyone is suffering from anything, but someone may be interested in information about diabetes or about COPD or whatever the case is. And so using that is just tremendous, especially when someone comes into my newsletter program. I don't know them from Adam, but with the propensity modeling, I can give them possibly some content that may be more relevant to them. And then if it doesn't work, fine. Then what happens is we try something else. And so it is a big win for us. When we did it, we saw a 30% increase just, in engagement, within the first few months.
That's great. So, Correy, I'm going to send it right back to you. How do you maintain the balance between delivering the personalized experience and protecting the customers? Because you have HIPAA data.
PII. Yeah. I'm more interested in not being creepy. because really, a lot of us do have a lot of information about our customers and our users at Cure, and we have to honor them. And it is a fine line, but honestly, I used to work at the Shane Company, and it was your friend in the diamond business. We try to be their friend. What would your friend do? And so it's really tiptoeing, and probably one of our best programs that we have is the You May Be Interested series, where we introduce them, hey, you may be interested in this, here's some information. And I know this is not a best practice, but right at the top it says, opt out, I'm not interested. And we give people the opportunity, and we honor that to not bug them about that condition, procedure, or whatever.
All right, so this is for all three of you. Top worry when you look at rolling this out and expanding it across into other parts of the business?
Just in a similar vein to avoiding being creepy. It's a super fine line because you do have, we have a ton of data on a lot of people. And the more personalized experience you can give them, the metrics show conversion rates improve. So one example that I'll share that I'm a little concerned about, but also very excited about, NextDoor just launched a proprietary AI tool for advertisers where we'll write the copy for you for all of your ads. So you either give a small prompt, say, I'm a plumber and I have availability Monday, Wednesday, Friday after work, and we'll script the content for you. It's really exciting. It's going to really transform the way that people get their advertising into market quickly and with our best practices in mind, so helping improve their content as well. The ambition is to serve that in an email and have it be kind of a one-click experience where you just review your ad, and then once you get into product, you can launch it. That could be creepy to some people, especially once we get to the place where we're kind of scraping their personal profile and pulling in some reviews. But at the same time, we know that it will improve their experience and give them more time to spend on the things that they need to spend time on, because a lot of people just want to kind of like cross marketing off of their list and go to all of the other hats that they're wearing, whether it be payroll or actual operations. So it'll be an interesting test to launch, and I'm excited to see the way that it performs across our segments, because they're all very different. So yeah, maintaining that balance and making sure that we're not creeping people out is an opportunity.
Awesome. I would say mine is sort of twofold. One is moving fast enough. We, probably like most people in this room, are obsessed with growth. Obviously, we're private equity owned. There's a timeline on investment and things we need to return. So making sure we're moving fast enough to get the benefit of what all the new tools could give us in terms of efficiency, in terms of effectiveness, but doing it also in a responsible way, because we can't totally risk the short-term sales. And I actually think both of the speakers this morning from Macy's and JCPenney kind of talked about this too, that if I send more email, someone will open it and someone will buy something. So turning any of it off or automating it, there's always a risk that there will be some short-term sales loss, and we hope that other things that we've optimized will then offset it. But that's always in my mind, is that balance of speed and moving to the new things, finding the effectiveness and efficiency where it exists, but also being responsible to test and learn, start small, and then scale really fast once we see it work, so that we don't put, especially in this time of the year, we don't put the core business at risk because we don't have the ability to do that.
I would go back to what I was talking about before, and not to be creepy. You have to honor your users, because all they have to do is opt out.
Okay, the much promised rapid fire segment. So I'm just gonna ask you a question, and then you can give a quick response. Segmentation, person or machine?
Machine.
Both.
Both.
Internal personalization tools. Too many options or not enough?
Just right?
Too many.
Too many.
Your email personalization in 2024. I've got the secret sauce, or buckle up, I'm not sure what's coming.
Buckle up.
Probably somewhere in between. Like, we've got a plan. It's got to come together.
On the B2B side of the house, we're good. On the B2C side of the house, buckle up.
AI, taking over our jobs or elevating them?
Elevating.
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 Finally.
Yes, we agree.
Well, it's so funny. We had a sync before this panel, and I was in the throes of something very chaotic. So when I first answered that question, I was like, it's taking my job. But, you know, over the last few days and weeks, I regret having that been my reaction. We're all here, right? We're all leaders who are hungry to learn more, to understand what other people in the space are doing, and I feel like the fact that we're all in this room together is evidence that it's not taking our job, that we're trying to stay ahead of it, and we're trying to leverage it the best that we can to grow the careers on our teams and ensure that we are helping people who are really concerned about their jobs develop their skill set so that it doesn't take their job. Not rapid fire, but.
Well, I was going to say one more rapid fire kind of building on that is AI saving you time or sucking your time?
Sucking now, but saving later.
I would agree. I think right now there's so much to figure out. Like, everyone is talking about AI, and I find me and my team spend a lot of time on, like, is there really something here, or is this a lot of buzzwords? Like, what capability is different than the other, just because it is growing so rapidly, and there are so many offerings in the space.
I would agree with that.
All right. Well, that's right. We're right on time. So I want to thank our panelists for a wonderful conversation.